And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Conversations with Michael. And as we let everybody log in here for today's broadcast, as well as our new viewers here joining us for the first time on YouTube Live. So let's take a deep breath here together. We feel into the energies that are here in support of each other. And another deep breath as we feel the energies of this vibrant group of people that are both logged in through Zoom as well as those that are watching through YouTube. And of course, we welcome, as we do every single day, the support and the guidance from our non-physical counterparts, our non-physical family, and allowing their presence to come in to offer their loving support, admiration for all of us having the courage to be on this planet at this time. Probably the most fulfilling time to ever be on Earth, as well as the most challenging time to ever be here. Interesting combination there, but it's something that we are deeply honored for choosing to be here at this time. Very good. We are broadcasting live here from our home studio just outside Portland, Oregon, and it's our own home studio overlooking the valley in front of us, about 30 miles west of downtown Portland, out in the country here. And of course, Portland, growing as fast as it is these days, is starting to move its way into our countryside, but it's still a beautiful place to live. And of course, today marks the beginning of this new feature here to Conversations with Michael. We're now simulcasting this live stream using YouTube live channel. This allows anyone to watch the show without registering through Zoom. So you can watch the show on the Conversations with Michael page on our website. And as well, below the player, you'll find a link there to the YouTube page. And on this page, there's also a live chat feature. But we won't be answering any questions from that page. The interactive part of these live streams are connected to those who want to participate in the Q&A portion of this show. In other shows that we do that allow you to come on as a guest, you'll still need to register and sign in through the Zoom app. And I see that we already have a full house, as that has been the case for several years here through Zoom. And I welcome all of you who have taken the time to make this an important time in your day. I hope you've noticed, as Michael has requested that you notice, that behind me here is a new background. He's kind of been pestering me to remove the brown tones. And where's his vibrant blue colors? So we brought back the original background screen that we used several years ago. And yeah, it's cool. I like it too. And of course, I like it when Michael likes it. So it works for both of us. We've also have a new feature here for Conversations with Michael, which I'm very excited about. We're adding some new guests starting in February of next year, who will be invited to be my special guest on our show. And I don't know how many will be on during the year, but we already have 3 invited, starting with my dear friend Jeff Hoppe of the Crimson Circle in February. In April, we have Jim Self of Mastering Alchemy, and my dear friend Pepper Lewis, who did a fabulous job being a conscious channel for Gaia for many years, and she'll be on in June. And of course, when my guests aren't on, it's going to be me and Michael and the rest of you, as it always has been for many years. So I look forward to having these special guests. It doesn't require you to sign up, of course, unless you want to participate in the Q&A feature. If you like just to watch it free, as all these shows are free, then I invite you to go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch it there. If you're new, as there are a lot of new people tuned in here today to the teachings of Michael, I invite you as well to visit our website and explore the variety of programs and services we offer. We serve the awakened human being, where our service is not to those in particular who are just entering their own awakening. We serve the awakened human being who is now ready to develop a conscious, tangible relationship with their soul in their own day-to-day reality. That's become our joy for the last 10 years, and it's something that we feel honored that we have the privilege to work with so many of you who have chosen to do something incredibly unique. I know there's been labels placed on this relationship, and the relationship that Michael has called it is simply a sacred relationship, the relationship between the human and the soul. If you take a deep breath here, allow everybody to settle in. We also want to thank all those who have chosen to contribute to the teachings of Michael. It is your support that really allows us to continue to offer a variety of free programs and services. If you'd like to offer some donation, whether it be a one-time or a monthly or whatever amount you'd like, you can go to our support page on our website and click on whatever option works best for you. So a few quick announcements before I turn this over to Michael. We have a few upcoming events in December, and of course, last conversations with Michael was a little different, a little unusual. It was titled AIs, which is Artificial Intelligence, and You. And of course, you can still watch that video on our video library page. And if you'd like to watch any of the past episodes of not only this show, but all of our live presentations that are free, and a few other things that we put in that library, over 100 videos are in the library. All you have to do is sign up to the Sacred Space program, which is our video library. But AIs and You offered a very different approach to how we can serve your experience as an awakened human being. Michael felt it was important to at least offer a basic understanding of the future of AIs, because all of us will be living alongside of them. Not necessarily robots, but the technology itself. During the next 12 years, AIs will replace over 375 million jobs worldwide, which is a startling figure. And at the same time, at least in the United States, our public school systems over the last several decades moved away from the remedy to this, all the creative possibilities, the arts, music, the skills that were hands-on skills with woodworking and metalwork, things that required a relationship with your own artistry, with your own creativity. Our school system has basically displaced most of that with mental activities to prepare you to be involved with a technology that is going to end up replacing so many that are being trained to work with these very technologies. So it's an interesting dilemma. We have really a decade, or I should say humanity has really a decade to rigorously retrain themselves to be able to participate in how to support yourself if you're relying on that kind of support from a mental-based support system, which basically means that you are relying on the hierarchy of an employer judging your value and you relying on them in return to pay you. So our service to each of you is to help you to rediscover your own unique creativity, Coca and I, our background is as artists. We can work with all of you because that is our background to help you not only develop a relationship with your own soul, but to help you to trust in your own creativity. This is something that's going to be essential for any of us who want to be able to rely on our own creativity and rely on the support that allows us to do the basic things in our life: buy food, pay for our mortgages, our rents, pay for our cars or clothes, all those basic needs. And that's why we are, in a way, bombarding you with a variety of programs and a variety of services to help you move out of this mental-based support system into a support system that's dependent on a relationship with consciousness. This isn't being taught in schools. This isn't being taught in workplaces. This is not being taught through your spiritual or religious institutions. And so it's awkward to discover this freedom, to be able to feel all of life supporting you while you're living alongside the vast majority of your human family who doesn't have a clue how to work with consciousness. They don't even know what consciousness is. So let's take a deep breath there as we celebrate this opportunity to be at this forefront of change and acknowledge that this might not be the time, this lifetime, for all of humanity to make this shift. But we are making that shift for ourselves first, individually and in support of each other. So coming up too as well, starting on December 8th, one of my favorite programs is the iSpirit program. We offer a 6-month iSpirit 1 program and a 3-month iSpirit 2 program. iSpirit 2 begins December 8th. Private sessions are included in this course. We have shut down enrollment if you are new to this program, but if you are one who has graduated from either iSpirit 1 or 2, you are still welcome to sign up. If you need the discount code that is given to you, anyone who is a graduate of iSpirit, feel free to email us and we'll send you that discount code. If your heart is calling you to participate in this as a graduate, we welcome you. Not only because it's important for you to participate, to move yourself out of that mental-based support system and have a more tangible, conscious relationship with your own soul, but because it's in support of those who are new to this. So we look forward to you. And members of the Sacred Space program are also invited to participate in our first new quarterly live sessions with Michael live stream starting on December the 15th. To participate in that live stream, all you have to do is sign up as a member to the Sacred Space programs. Members can also participate as my guests, very similar to what I had going on, same format on the 24/7 a Masters Gathering, which I have turned over to my friends over at the Masters Hub. And finally, as well, we have an upcoming in-studio class titled An Enlightened Life on December the 29th. It's an all-day workshop. You can take this workshop, as all of our courses and services are online, from the comfort of your own home. The class includes 90-day access to the recording. If you'd like to participate, feel free to visit our website and check it out. My service to all of you is simply to share a tangible, conscious relationship I have allowed over the years with the creator that all of you know is Michael, or is Michael. When Michael, as Archangel Michael, first approached me 25 years ago, offering to co-teach with me, he made it really clear that he didn't want this to be about him. And of course, what I did for the next 15 years was make it all about him as a conscious channel for him and for Yeshua. But things changed about 10 years ago for me. And it shifted my relationship both with Michael and Yeshua, where I understood that this wasn't about being a channel. This was about integrating the relationship that I have with Michael into my day-to-day experience, which required some choices in my own life. And like all of you, they weren't easy choices to make. I had to separate myself in a way from others who weren't making that choice, because it takes, well, your undivided attention. It takes all of your passion to have this relationship become real. And so for the last 10 years, it is a relationship that has continued to grow and to expand. And it is a relationship, a sacred relationship, that is available to each and every one of you. My joy, my passion is to help you to take ownership of this for yourself. And so it's been my honor to work with those of you who are at the forefront of embodying this dynamic new human soul relationship from a place of joy. It's been done before by other human beings, but not necessarily from a place of joy. So this will be new. It's new to me, it's new to all of you, and it's new to so many others who have already ascended physical reality, but have come back to do exactly what we're doing here together. Over the last couple of years, Michael has shared with me that there are millions of newly awakened human beings who are just beginning to step out of that polarized dualistic reality. And once again, we are here to be of support to one another. And together, we end up becoming supports to each other to help us reclaim this divine freedom from the inside out. I've noticed over the last few years, some very young people coming on to the Teachings of Michael website and participating in what we are offering to help them remember, to help inspire them to reclaim this freedom. It's the freedom that is so precious, that is so unique, that is so vital, not just to what we are experiencing here as a human being in relationship with the rest of humanity and with relationship with this earth. It is so vital in the service that we provide to all of life, to all of creation, in how our embodied enlightenment creates a new template, so to speak, a template that allows the soul to be involved with a physical experience, that allows complete opposites, the human that's conditioned to resist, and the soul that has an unconditional relationship with life to coexist. This very new template that we are allowing to be a part of our day-to-day reality will offer all of creation a living example of how to work with complete opposites as it relates to light and dark, as it relates to the female and male energies, as it relates to the different spiritual families of which not all are friends. It allows us to interrelate with different star seeds, with different galaxies, with different star systems, of which not all see each other as friends, as good neighbors. What we are doing here is changing creation so that the future of all of life is ensured by embracing opposites without fear. Indeed. Thank you, Robert. That was a wonderful introduction, and it is exactly what we are doing here. I am Michael, and of course, it is my honor to work with each of you in this unique way, and we understand we are now finally set free. Not that the technology called Zoom was limiting our relationship, but this now allows us to speak to a much broader audience, including those of you who have signed up through Zoom. So we welcome all of you. If this is new to you, no, I am not channeling. This is not a channeled message. This is Robert as a human being and his willingness to allow me to coexist, not just at this time, but to coexist in his day-to-day reality. It is a new experience for both him and for me each and every day. And each and every day, it requires of Robert to allow me to be in his life. It is not an automatic response. He must allow me consciously to participate in his day-to-day reality. Indeed. So let's talk a little bit here about what we'll be talking about here today. Today's title I'd like to call, I Am Not That, I Am Not. By beginning to look at what is the most important element you have at your disposal as a human being. What is your most important virtue? Where is your attention? The moment you wake up. And if it's not based on how you are feeling, then we need to spin out some resistance there. Because today we're talking about your radiance. Your radiance will literally determine how all of life will serve you. Indeed, you are a conscious caretaker of this most precious part of your being, this radiance, because it is your radiance that brings to you, attracts to you like a magnet what you want to experience, what you feel. Now, if you're doing it from the mental-based support system, then it's all based on hoping and wanting and needing, all those human emotions that in a way sabotage your radiance. And that's where a lot of you get stuck here. You're trying to do this by creating an improved version of your own humanity, and that backfires what's already there for you, what's already set in place. Your radiance is not dependent on your humanity becoming a better human being. Your radiance is solely dependent on you as a human being simply allowing the presence of who you also are to radiate its presence within your body with you. I am that. I am. Such a profound truth. Took a while for Robert to look at me and recognize I am that. I am, and I am also Robert. Such a profound truth. In this new relationship you have with your own soul nature, The conscious creator becomes aware of, I am not that, I am not. Because there's so many energies that enter your life that have nothing to do with you. Let's take an example. The human speaks of the I am, for the most part, to affirm what they are lacking. And we want you to be conscious of this when you give voice to this. I am feeling sick. Well, just yesterday I was feeling great, but now I'm feeling sick. A lot of you who participate in these presentations and all the different things that we offer, notice that the energy tends to work on your physical body and things get stirred up. And the body needs to release different energies that no longer are yours if you allow them to go, if you allow yourself to let them go. But how you give voice to this has a lot to do with where you're at with your own mastery. When you say, I am feeling sick, is that really your truth? I am lacking money. Is that really your truth? Who is speaking for you? I'm not sure I want to stay on this planet. I am, fill in the blank. When you say, I am that, I am, you're owning, I am sick, I am that. But that's, in a way, playing with some energies here that are not yours to work with any longer. For if you're calling that yours, then you're still dependent on a sympathetic response from life. We talked at length about this, about these emotions in A Sacred Life Part 1, a required course if you're going to participate in the iSpirit program. If you're relying on sympathy, or really, doesn't that really mean the willingness to suffer with others? That's what sympathy means. I am going to suffer with you. Then you're going to get more of exactly what you're complaining of not having. Empathy is the more elevated emotion, but it still traps you. The willingness in an empathetic response to others or yourself is the willingness to process the feelings of others who you declare are incapable of doing that for themselves. In return, you get recognition for doing that for them. And so we move out of the sympathetic and empathetic response to how you're feeling and how others are feeling. And I'm talking here to those of you who are also working with other people, to be careful about how your emotions end up getting you entangled in their problems. That brings us to a different response, a response that has nothing to do with your human emotions. It has everything to do with consciousness, compassion. Compassion is the allowance to allow others to simply be as they are. That's a tough one. That's a tough one if when you are getting stuck in your physical body's health and well-being, and you're declaring, I am sick, as if you are the body, that's a tough one to let go of. Because I am the body feeling sick is using sympathy and empathy in making others responsible for how you feel. Moving out of a mental-based support system that relies on the emotions and the emotions of others. We move into consciousness, your freedom, which allows you to feel and develop a deeper sense of compassion first with you. And that compassion for yourself only becomes real because you love yourself first. Huge step. Huge, huge step. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this. There'd be no need to call this mastery. It'd just be common sense. Take this next step, move out of those debilitating emotions that rob you of your own life force energy, and move into compassion. But there's an addiction to those emotions. And there's a conditioning that's connected to your mind. And so this brings us back to that very primal truth, something we talked about in part 3 of A Sacred Space, or of A Sacred Life. Your primal truth, or is it your primal truth, is that you are not your body. Your primal truth is you are not your mind. And your primal truth is you are also not your emotions. And if you're not allowing the presence of your own soul, consciousness to be in your life, then naturally your humanity is going to say, well, then who the hell am I? If I'm not this body, if I'm not this mind, if I'm not these emotions, then who in the world am I? That is the dilemma that all of humanity faces. But when you declare this to be your truth, because you have declared that your identity is not limited to the human experience without the soul, but becomes enriched and expanded with the soul, then the enlightened human has a very different voice. A very different voice. The enlightened human in this sacred relationship is able to look at the body, this beautiful vessel called a body, and it knows it needs to release a lot of energies to serve your own mastery. When you give voice to a sovereign relationship you have with your body consciousness, well, it attracts a very different energy into your life and allows your body to work with the energies that need to transmute in order to allow for a tangible relationship with your own soul. The enlightened human never says, I am ill, I am that, I am. The enlightened human makes a conscious choice to recognize that is the voice and only the voice I've been giving to this experience from my own humanity, but it doesn't represent my primal truth, as I know that to be in relationship to my soul. In this new relationship, you give voice to the sovereign nature of your body out of respect, that the body is adjusting something that you have labeled to be illness. It is simply adjusting itself to your soul's radiance. And that is beautiful, dear ones. That is absolutely beautiful. It is but an adjustment period. It is nothing that your emotions would describe as being, well, you must have done something wrong. You must have failed in adjusting to your soul. So when you do go through, and you will continue to go through a variety of different adjustments that your body is making in service to you, human and soul, to allow consciousness, your freedom, to coexist with your own humanity. You are not your mind or your emotions, but you do have a relationship with them. That relationship can be unconscious, as it has been for most of your life, or it takes on a very different relationship when you choose to live your life consciously. Then you become aware and not so easily tripped. When you recognize that your mind will always trigger emotions based on the choices you make in your life that are solely based on what you have experienced when you've made similar choices in your past. That you can take for granted. That's a given. That's your old story's truth. The conscious creator is the awakened, enlightened human being. And as a creator, you only take responsibility for what you consciously choose and allow in your life. And how's that going? Well, that's not a judgment. Let's just laugh about it, shall we? How is that going? If this was easy, dear ones, everybody would be doing this. Everybody would have signed up to every single workshop we've ever presented. But to do this consciously, you also have to acknowledge the trap that you find yourself in and the mental and emotional dilemma that's created that trap. You have to acknowledge a type of addiction to the sympathetic and empathetic response to life and realize that that denies you your freedom. Not that you've done anything wrong, but it has denied you your freedom. So there are but a few creators who have chosen at this time to step forward. So be it. So be it. Let's take a deep breath there. Each of you are not being judged, and you're certainly not being graded on where you are at with your embodied freedom in this sacred relationship. Each of you have your own unique experience, and each of you have a very unique relationship with the physical body, this vessel that you reside within, and the relationship that body has with your own biological family. That in and of itself determines a particular timeline. For there's a lot there, or there's not a lot there that needs to be released, that needs to be let go of. When you let it go from a place of feeling like you're really ready to let go of these traps that your mind and emotions try to trap you in, confine you, restrict you. The body is the last to be able to give you tangible evidence that what you just let go of now is reflected in your physical experience within this physical body. The body, on your part, requires a lot of patience, a lot of patience. And that patience comes because you allow the body to do what it is doing the best that it knows how to do. If you insist that this embodied freedom, this embodied enlightenment happen either in a blink of an eye or, let's see, I'm going to give it 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, if I'm not in that embodied experience, then I guess I'm done. I'm going to leave this planet. It just didn't happen soon enough. But what you have done has never been done before here collectively. You have sped up this embodied enlightenment to the degree that what normally would have taken several lifetimes, you are demanding, insisting that it happen in this lifetime. And then you say to us, once things start moving, you start complaining that things are moving too fast, that your mind feels completely out of control, that the body is processing so many energies that you go flatline. You end up laying on your couch all day long, wondering why you have no energy. Because you insisted, and we honor you. There's no judgment here. We honor you that you said it either happens in this lifetime or I'm just not going to come back. It either happens in this lifetime, either I make this lifetime the experience where I finally feel the fulfillment of being a human being because I've allowed my soul to be here with me, or I'm done with this physical experience. I'm done with physical reality. There's other things I can do as a soul. And so there are but a few creators who have chosen at this time to step forward. So be it. And so they, each one of them, have their arms outstretched, some in public and some in not. And they are simply saying or simply radiating that energy that says to you, why don't you join me? If you want this to happen the most accelerated way, then let it go. Let it go, your dependence on the mind and those emotions to determine for you the quality of your life. Live your life consciously and be conscious of what you're giving voice to. Is that really you? Is that really your truth? Some who are these creators who have stepped forward and decided to embrace the light of their own consciousness, perhaps for the very first time in all the countless times they've been here as a human being, whether that be in this era, whether that be in the area that you call Atlantis, Lemurian, or any other era. For many, this is the time that they said, I'm done. I'm done denying the light of my own consciousness. Perhaps the manner in which they present themselves is not the most elegant or as professional as a well-seasoned teacher. We want you to feel into some of the energy, that the courage that they're demonstrating simply to put themselves in a position to share, I'm willing to give voice to a new freedom. I know all of you can see it's not perfect, but I'm willing to give voice to it. And underneath that, can you also feel that there exists for all of you a memory, a past relationship to some of these new ones who are stepping forward that troubles you? Perhaps they are even inviting you to participate in their own unique workshops, classes, or teachings. Perhaps they're simply saying to each of you in their own unique way, I know I haven't always been like this before. And so I have had to forgive myself to be able to have this conscious relationship with the light of my own consciousness. I'm asking you, can you also forgive me? I know if you're looking at my energy as it relates to the past, whatever era that we've joined and shared this experience before together, I'm asking you, can you forgive me? So that we can enter into the new story together. All of you have participated in stealing energies. There's not one of you that hasn't had that relationship. All of you have been involved in extracting energies. All of you, from your human perspective, know full well what it means to be a good consumer in this mental-based support system that is defining for humanity how they must participate in this life, the human life. Every single one of you has tasted what it feels like to consume life, consume resources, consume what you need just to support your physical health and well-being through vegetables, grains, and other foods. And so this news story is new. And it's going to require a lot of compassion, first for yourself and as you view others who are willing to step forward and offer something new. New to them, this is new. New to all of you. Don't judge the new teachers. Whether you think they're qualified or not, at least they are choosing to have a relationship with the light of their own consciousness. For that, we bow before them. Thank them for adding another support system to consciousness, offering a valid support to eternity. Let's take a breath there. So we want to move to some of your questions here, and asking Robert here to come in a little closer. So he's the one that's going to work with the Zoom network. We have a question here that was presented online that Robert's put in front of me, and we're going to start with that before we move to the questions from those that are participating through Zoom. The question is, you have said that no being can heal another being, but that seems to contradict what is happening here in South America with a world-renowned healer. So, indeed, that apparently is the end of their question. We agree that that would seem to contradict, but it does not. It does not. There is no being, including I, Michael, that can heal another being. What that does validate, indeed, that if there are enough individuals who gather together and support a belief that healings or miracles can happen to you from outside yourself, that type of collective energy is created to support that belief by those attending these healing sessions that allows what they would call miracles to actually occur, to become real. The immense power or influence of a collective consciousness in action is what these healing sessions are actually demonstrating. Without that belief, nobody's healed. And it's only because there is the belief that you will be healed by this individual who acts as a conduit for a very sacred relationship. Their radiance isn't doing the healing. And what's called a type of psychic surgery isn't doing the healing. That's to distract your mind. It would be a dishonor to you, each of you, if you believed that you did not have within yourself the inherent ability to heal yourself. Believing that others could heal you is like saying that there is a God, and that God gave certain virtues to certain beings and not to others. Good luck. The ones that have certain inherent characteristics or virtues, they will have certain abilities that all the rest of you will, of course, will rely on these other God beings to do these things for you. Sounds like a God that a mind would create for itself. So indeed, imagine what happens when you come together, as it has already happened, collectively, and you believe that the soul is real. And because, and only because, there is such a strong feeling behind that belief, and it is shared by a group of others, it makes it so. It makes it real. It makes it available to you as a physical experience. That's what this sacred relationship is all about. This is a tangible reflection of that belief, starting with the belief that it is real. There are many who do not believe that I am Michael speaking with and through Robert right now. There are many who believe Robert is just making this up, making it up to create an income base for him so that he can have some students. If that was true for Robert, he would shut down the website about 10 seconds after this live stream. It takes a great deal of integrity to pull this off and make this real. It takes a tremendous amount of integrity to allow consciousness to be in your body with you. It takes a tremendous amount of compassion and self-love to have a conscious relationship with your soul and the willingness to live your life consciously, not asking your soul to make choices for you, to allow the presence of your soul to exist while you are making choices. It is a multifaceted relationship. And it's a relationship that transcends even the I am that I am. It is a relationship that becomes we are that. We are. When Robert looks in the mirror, there is Robert and there is me. We are that. We are. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. There are times Robert looks in the mirror and just sees, I am spirit. I see even this mirror as spirit. Let's get to your other question, shall we? Thank you, Robert. A question here. Please tell us what will happen with the human beings that are on their way to self-realization, but will die before becoming enlightened this life. Will they reincarnate in an artificial body and start again the process of self-realization? It's all a choice. It is all a choice. There isn't, if you leave this planet on their way to self-realization and die before they become enlightened, it isn't as if you've missed the boat. It is a multifaceted relationship with Earth because there's more than just one Earth. There's more than just one version of this Earth. There are multiple choices. There are always multiple choices. It is not a do or die situation. There is the opportunity to come back to this, not because you're labeling it as self-realization, because you come back as a soul to experience once again the human experience, to taste the joy of being in a very sensual relationship with physical reality, even if you are the only one doing it in a biological form. Now, there are some who would like to experience this in the body that is transcending this biology and becoming more part AI and less biological. So be it. So be it. And there are others who will want to taste and only taste the biology as you have known it and every other human being has known it since this era has begun. We are not going to predict the future for you. We are only going to remind you that in this biology, you already have all the resources and all the tools available to you to transcend the limitations of this mind. Having a computer chip placed in this mind doesn't change or doesn't give you a self-realized experience. It just gives you a faster computer inside this biology. The thing that transcends the limitations of the mind is the presence of your soul. Indeed. Another one's asking, how can I deal with the feeling that there is something left, some piece of the puzzle that I need to find or to click on in order to manifest my own creative way of sharing my energy in light with the world? There is. And that's why we spoke about it here today. It is the voice of your soul. It is the voice of your soul without creating a separation and calling it channeling. Not that there's anything wrong with that term. This is just our manner of teaching this, because this is Robert's choice to have this experience with me. He could have continued on with this relationship and called me a channeled version of him, and that would have been fine. For me, it wasn't for him. Indeed. Another one, if I could make a glowing rainbow filled with butterfly and joy, from here to my angelic friend, our sacred dance and the gift of freedom we embrace, sometimes is so difficult to define it in word, the love that comes from you to us and us to you thing that manifests in the way that we are natural and empowering and sometimes are breathtaking. Then you know how I feel about you and all of you when you create that rainbow. Dear ones, why do you think I am here? I am devoted to you, your soul, and I am devoted to your own humanity. Why? Because I love you. Without this love, there's lots of other things I'm sure I would choose to do. But because of this love, it's as if I have no choice in this matter. Because what is building up inside of me must be shared. I cannot contain this love that first began with me. I must share it. That is the only requirement, as far as I've discovered from love, is it must be shared or it will backfire. Can you see, all of you, that you are blessing me by allowing me to share my love with you? Can you see how that serves me? For I have no agenda whether you take these teachings and do something with it. It matters not to me. It matters to you whether you're experiencing joy. It matters to you whether you're experiencing the passion that's available to you. It matters to you whether you're creating it the hard way or just allowing life to support you. Then our dance together becomes something altogether different. Then you no longer look at me as your teacher. We look at each other as friends, as I am looking at you right now, just as my friend. And as a friend, friends support each other. Indeed. And so this one who shared such a beautiful statement here, she has quite a bit more here to share, but I think I'll share that. Giving voice to Christ consciousness and the sacred feminine that is so fearless, lighting up the conference room I booked for QM event for the participants, myself and beyond. Yeshua, I love you so much. A gazillion of thanks I want to give in exchange. Your presence, radiance, passion, and joy is such a blessing, blending together in this sacred dance we call embodiment. And Michael and Mikhail, I am in tears of joy. Thank you for stirring up so many energies that has nothing and absolutely nothing to do with us. Vastly and wildly, I open up and looking forward to our next event and for the I Spirit too. Thank you, Robert, for your endless support in so many ways, and especially for the update to log in to the sacred space. Now finally is working. Yes, yes. My love back to you from both of us, indeed. Much gratitude. And so we have another question here. So you observe and feel your body aching. Is a conscious response to get a massage to help that energy? Well, that's one really good choice. So the choice, sure, is always based and supported by loving yourself and sharing that love with your body. Oh, I see, body, you're having a difficult time working with some of this energy. I'd love to help you. And I like how it feels too. Looks like a win-win here. Let's get a massage to help the body work with all these energies and help move those energies. And while that's going on, wow, it just turns me on to get a body massage. So no matter what's going on with the body, I, soul, and human, just like being touched that way. It feels beautiful. She goes on to ask, likewise, if emotions come to the surface, is a conscious response to observe them and acknowledge them, but not get stuck in them? Indeed. Indeed. We are going to repeat this ad nauseum. You are not your emotions. They are connected to your human mind, and your mind has taken ownership of your identity. You are reclaiming it as a soul. You are reclaiming it. The hard part here is there must be the allowance. There must be the allowance. And the only way that the mind trusts that the soul is real and trustworthy is through tangible evidence, through physical experiences. So you come into the body as the soul, and then the mind must document that experience as being just as real as any other experience. And what the mind notices right off is if the mind pushes back, the soul no longer is in your body. So it takes time to develop that kind of relationship where it's not a push or pull. Indeed. And the one who is asking, do you ask your spirit to help you allow the aches or emotions, but not get stuck in them? Your soul or spirit isn't going to get rid of the aches and pains. As you've noticed, it is your soul or spirit that actually stirs everything up. It is your choice as the soul and the body. It is your choice to allow all this to take place and not to take it personally. What's going on with your body? Don't take it personally. It's happening with your body. Your body consciousness is more than capable of working with itself. When your mind freaks out and triggers all a variety of different emotions to get your attention, don't take it personally by responding to your emotions. Do something different, which is why we've always recommended in those moments of distress, confusion, begin to just reconnect to feeling yourself by touching your hand ever so lightly, so as to reconnect to something that is different than the turmoil of the emotions or the discomfort of your physical body. You'll feel this, and that is just as real as the discomfort, by touching yourself in a loving way. And then allow yourself to be touched by life, the energetic presence of life, in a loving way. Indeed. And so we have I see a huge opportunity to share and create with this wonderful consciousness, because the prevalent and the biggest energy in my being is compassion. Indeed, this is perfect because I need change and something to do with my life. And honestly, nothing else feels appropriate to me, but my 3D reality still feels stuck more and more. My dilemma is that I am pretending to show and celebrate the same new energy potentials for others when my life still does not express this richness in this tangible world, this physical world. Any comments would be so appreciated. Thanks from my heart. So when it's real in your physical body, you feel really, really turned on by life, your life. And in turn, you just can't get enough of physical experiences in this 3D reality, because it all just turns you on, which is vastly different from the mind that just kind of sees things from a shut down place as being something that you just need to do. That's why we understand a lot of you feel challenged when we say participate in your mundane activities. You don't have to change any of them, but participate in them from feeling turned on. When you go grocery shopping, make sure that it becomes something that feels really turned on by using all of your sensory perceptions, not just the 5 that are available to your physical body, but all of your intuitive abilities. Go into that store lit up and experience buying food, not just consuming, but participating with all the colors, all the lights. Now, this was challenging for Robert at first, because all the colors and delights are distracting too. He forgets, why am I in this store? What did I come here for? And that's why we always recommend that he write down the things that he thought he needed before he came to the store, so that he remembers, with all the lights, colors, and sounds that are bombarding him, why he's there. In the meantime, through his eyes and through your eyes, the ones asking, let them see us. Let them see spirit lit up. Let them feel a real passion for living. Because if you are feeling, the moment you wake up, really turned on by your life, then all of life feels turned on by you. It's that simple. It's that simple. Get out of your mind, get out of the voice of the mind, and start feeling ecstatically turned on by only your life. And then the radiance of you feeling turned on does all the hard work for all of you. It just comes to you. It just comes to you. What you share with others, whether you give voice to it or not, it really doesn't matter. When you're feeling really turned on by life and you're allowing the presence of your soul to be very present in your body with you, there's no agenda attached to how you share this love you have for you. You just love life, all of life, even those who don't love themselves. Those who don't love themselves don't want to hear anything about what any of you think you could do to help them wake up. Those who don't love themselves don't need to hear anything about moving out of sympathy and empathy and into compassion. They are where they are, and it's perfect. When they ask you, how do I get deeply connected to this compassion? Then give them the voice they want to hear. Then share your wisdom. Indeed. Another question. I know I wasn't always happy that you didn't force yourself upon me, but after the experiences of the last 2 weeks, I want to express to you the deep joy and deep, deep gratitude I feel for me and for you too, for allowing me to discover it for myself, that as I am right now, I am already a perfect match for my soul, for life, for you, and I really don't have to improve anything about myself just to be present in my body as a soul so that my human part can always feel my love and support. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the many, many gifts our co-creation brought to me. Much love back to you. And I am not the only one, dear ones, as you all know, who is sharing the love we have for ourselves with all of you. There are so many beings here, not in physical form, that simply want you to feel our gratitude for your willingness to be here, our appreciation, our heartfelt support. Indeed. Thank you, dear one. Another question, and we are getting close to the end here. I have a sincere interest in death issues and recognizing my others' transitions affect me. My father unexpectedly has septic shock and is in the ICU in our local hospital. Though he represents the old patriarchy and scarcity, I honor many other aspects he offered me as his first child. I sense he has already departed and does not have very long on earth. Does his soul have a message today for me that helps me release sympathy or empathy? Indeed, he does. Let me go so that you may feel how I have truly loved you. Let me go so that you can feel me loving you back in ways that I wasn't capable of in my human experience. Indeed. We have another statement question I'd like to share in that energy of deep gratitude, how beautiful it is to really feel the soul and know yourself to be it. It changes everything. Indeed, it does. You have really gone through a lot of incredible experiences to come to the simplicity of where all of it now resides. Taking a deep breath and letting the soul fully have its way with you, and trusting that it's safe now. It's safe indeed. Another question. Dear Robert Michiel, I too am deeply grateful for your presence in my life. Life gets so much more enjoyable when I'm not alone. Looking forward to an even deeper connection through iSpirit 2. Love the new blue background. Ah, finally, yes. It better reflects the joy I feel in my heart as I listen to you. And yes, we didn't quite get it really with Robert. What's this with all the brown? Uh, didn't resonate with it. I wanted him to sit with it for as long as he did, and kind of sat with it for several years. But now we're back to our true glory. And I know his hesitation was, that blueness within my own presence, and as it reflects itself in the background to and through him, he just has to own not only how magnificent I am as Michiel, but how magnificent he is as Robert the human being. Hard to say for most of you as human beings, but that's where we are we not? And finally, one last question. As my life right now feels very stuck and a mess, what is the best way for me to move forward? It is not that I don't feel my soul, but I simply do not know how to move forward. So let's start with what we always recommend for all of you. Take a deep breath. Stop trying to change it. Stop trying to do anything about your life right now. And let's make a connection with the body, shall we? And just slowly, in a very delicate and loving way, begin to touch yourself as a way of reconnecting to how it feels when you honor, respect, and love yourself first, no matter what's going on with your life right now. The potency of self-love has amazing impact on your life. Changes everything. I know the mind likes to worry, gets concerned about wanting to get things unstuck. But let's relieve the mind of trying to figure that out. Let's take a moment here as you're reconnecting to your body and how it feels to love yourself, to thank the mind for all of its service, and now to let the mind to know that that's not your primal truth, that you're stuck. I want you, Diana, to see that's really not your voice. I want you to practice giving your voice an opportunity to speak, not just to feel the presence of your soul, but for your mind not only to hear my voice, because your mind trusts me. It does. It trusts me. But unless it hears you, it needs to hear a voice that can talk to the one that is feeling stuck. For aren't you just channeling for the mind when you just said, I am stuck, or my life is stuck? Take a deep breath. Make it really simple, really clean. Start to connect to your body. Start to feel how it feels when you touch yourself lovingly. Begin to love yourself again. And recognize there's a difference between giving voice to a part of you that's trying but just can't do what you're asking it to do to make your life better. It doesn't know how. It doesn't know how to create a new story. It only knows how to trigger emotions based on choices you made in your past that are similar to what you're doing now. And so you make from this moment forward a profound choice, a radical choice. You decide that the one that gives voice to you being stuck is actually not your truth. You decide to give voice to that presence that's already free and is not stuck. You decide, while giving voice to that presence, to allow that voice to have a dialogue with your mind that feels stuck, and to offer, from your soul's perspective, your own unique wisdom that sounds pretty similar to ours. You decide to live your life consciously, which means that you now know from this moment, this day forward, that the voice that speaks that your life is stuck is actually a lie that you've been speaking, because it doesn't represent you. You that isn't stuck and will never be stuck ever again is willing to have a loving, respectful, compassionate relationship with that mind that feels stuck, with those emotions that feel stuck. But your mind needs to hear not just our voice, it wants to hear your voice. And it doesn't want to hear your voice as being a channeled version of you. It will just create another separation. So when we're done here, as we're wrapping this up for today, our recommendation to all of you is spend a good 10, 15 minutes practicing speaking on behalf of the voice that is already free, even to your mind. If it feels like you're just making it up, you're just pretending, well, from your soul's perspective, you're just pretending to be stuck. From your soul's perspective, you're just pretending that life doesn't want to support you. So you're choosing something radically different. You're choosing to create a new story. You're choosing to give voice to a part of you that's already free. My joy and passion and service to each of you is to help support you through that transition, because it feels a little crazy when you let go of the truth of your mind and embrace the truth of your soul. So be it. We are here in support of each other. Indeed. All my blessings to each of you. Thank you for participating. And we, of course, thank all of you who have been participating live online.